Many spiritual traditions state that we should release from all desires. Desires make our mind wander, getting out of the present moment, wanting to be somewhere else, dissatisfied with where we are in our lives, dissatisfied with ourselves. When we are constantly desiring something, we're not content. We feel we're not enough. We feel that if we just have that one thing, we can be fulfilled. Desires put us on a never-ending quest for more. Desires bring suffering. Now, are all desires leading us to suffering? Are all desires to be released? Because if we think about it, spiritual growth, to go on this path, which is not an easy path, to keep working on it, is something that requires us to want it. It requires us to desire to grow spiritually. Buddha took 7 weeks of meditating nonstop outside under a tree to get to enlightenment. I'm pretty sure that took him a lot of desire to pull that through. To have that level of commitment, to be disciplined, requires us to want that which we are committing to. So are all desires to be released? How do we solve this conflict? There are desires and desires. Some desires actually keep us miserable, where other desires help us to be happier and more fulfilled. What is the difference? So if you think about it, we all want to be joyful and happy. And we all think that our desires are going to help us with that. Some desires do and some desires don't. Some desires are pure illusion and we cannot see through them. But what is the difference? How to know? It's not necessarily about something being material or not. For instance, if you want to have a specific car so that people look up to you and think you're so cool, nothing that you buy can actually solve an issue that is about self-esteem and self-worth. But sometimes it's not very clear for people to see that that is actually what they want to solve. It's not about the car, but it is about what they want to heal, which many times is hidden underneath. Now, some people might really want a car that enables them to cut their commute time by half and have weekend getaways in nature and provides them with access to things that they truly enjoy. So the car is an enabler, but there is a huge difference between being able to see anything, even physical and material, as something that is not a solution in itself. It's a channel for something else, an enabler that we can enjoy but not get attached to and not confused with being the source of anything. The first point is clarity of intentions. What is it that lies under our desires? Some people really want money because they're operating in this scarcity mindset, always full of fears. But the thing is, even when they get money, they still have fears and scarcity mindset, because even though they're focusing on the money, there is an underlying fear there that is within themselves that has to be healed within themselves. Now, other people might want money to enable them to work on certain dreams and visions and projects that they have. So we're talking here about exactly the same thing, money. But the intention is different, because the desire is not the what you desire. It is what is lying underneath that desire. What is it that you think that desire is going to solve and is really going to solve? Because certain things are within ourselves and nothing outside of us can actually heal that. We need to understand what lies behind our desires. What is it that is actually generating that desire? Because that is what we have to take care of. We need to understand what lies behind our desires, what is generating the desire within ourselves. We need to understand that we are the source of everything, not money, not cars. These are channels, enablers, but we are the source. And the moment that we make that which we desire into our source, we kind of have diminished our power big time. But sometimes we confuse that. We make money our God, we make material things our God, we make other people our God, and we diminish ourselves, our own ability to create things, to be the source of our lives. We're here to live, we are on earth to live, and we can rejoice in everything that is here. But that is different from being dependent on them and being attached to them. At the end of the day, nothing can save us but ourselves. There are desires and desires. Another way to put it is that we have desires that come from the ego and desires that come from the soul. Desires that come from the ego, they are based on fear. They're everything that we want because we're scared of missing out, scared of not belonging, scared of not being accepted, scared of failing. All those things come from ego. And ego is based on fear. Ego separates us, it disconnects us. And whatever we want out of fear, out of ego, will never be enough. We'll just keep wanting and wanting and wanting and never be fulfilled because we are operating from a place of disconnection and fear. But then we have desires that come from our soul, calls of the soul, pure consciousness. We are pure consciousness. Those are calls of love. Love is consciousness, is oneness. And those are the longings of our soul. A word that I enjoy using for this is will. Our will is an elemental aspect of our soul, of who we truly are. The will to live, the will to love, the will to heal, the will to grow. These are so strong. They don't need many words. They don't need to justify themselves. Now, I'm not saying that every single desire that is super strong is necessarily a desire of your consciousness. Sometimes we're so scared that those desires are incredibly strong, so strong we cannot hear the longings of our heart. But we do have the duality within us, that we are consciousness, but we are on earth living with ego that is based on fear. And so we have different types of desires. We have desires that are based on fear and desires that are based on consciousness of who we truly are, because consciousness, its nature is expansion. It wants to grow, it wants to live, it wants to heal and be fully. So if you can grasp this difference between what is it that, where do I really want something from? What is the underlying reason, motive behind my desire? What do I think that desire will fulfill? Is it something just about what is the car representing for you, if that is what you want? And notice, where is that coming from? Are you clearly seeing your desire as an enabler, or are you making it into a source of something, a savior of something that goes much deeper within you? So we don't need to release from all desires for spiritual growth. But spiritual growth is the path of dissolving the ego. And so we want to release from all desires that are ego-based, fear-based, and cultivate those desires that come from our consciousness, the deep longings of our spiritual evolution out of love, consciousness that is love, that brings us to connection and to oneness, understanding. Whereas ego that is based on fear and separation, we want to dissolve that. And the key here is to develop high self-awareness, understanding what lies behind our desires. What is it really that we want? What is our desires showing us about how we feel, about what we need to heal, what we need to take care of and grow? Desires also show how we're treating ourselves, how we're dealing with the present moment. We can notice what the desire is doing to us, to our ability to be present here, now. So I hope this video has given you a few insights on how to work with desires for your spiritual growth. To learn more about spiritual growth, get your free guide, What is Spiritual Growth? You will find the link in the video description below. I am Aline Ra M, spiritual guide, healer, teacher, and I thank you for sharing your time and energy with me today.